baby's home. Cairo, Cairo is my baby's home. One bad Cairo night won't be long. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Catch you around and take you off your feet. Shoot you and knock you, beat you and cut you too. Shoot you and knock you, beat you and cut you too. They get through the graveyard, then for you. Cairo, babe. Cairo, Cairo, babe. Women in Cairo send you down to your grave.
Hi everyone and welcome. Another Blue Monday. Today is a very scattered theme. It's something that can be confusing, something that can be challenging. It's something that's not really defined. Do I have it? Do we have it? What's the definition of being kind of scattered around many projects at the same time? So we're going to be talking about ADHD, or tendencies to having ADHD, or any other definition of similar kind. I'm going to be kind of wondering if it's affecting me or finally getting after me. I'm going to be presenting you one of my guitars, because this is the beginning of a series where I'll show you all of my instruments and tell you a very brief story about each one of them, why I bought them, why they're important to me, how I work with them, what are they best suited for, according to me. It's because an instrument can be fantastic for some things for me, but maybe you would use it for something totally different. So if you hear how that instrument sounds and maybe get a little bit of inspiration of, let's say, the metal-bodied guitar or small-bodied guitars or a baritone guitar or whatever, then you'll get a bit clearer picture of, okay, what kind of instrument is that? So that's that. And that's not going to be about bragging, because this has got a lot to do with upcoming themes for the live streams, which are going to be about getting instruments, cheap versus expensive versus handmade guitars. Which is the best? What's suitable for me, for you, for anybody else? I'll give you some thoughts about that. But okay, a bit of housekeeping. If you're watching from Facebook, there's a link in the first comment beneath the little screen you're watching for the YouTube, because it's better audio and video there. But if you prefer watching it on Facebook, you're more than welcome. No problem. Let's see who's here today. Hello, Geir. Norwegian attack as usual. Wholeheartedly welcome. Patrick says hello as usual, but he's going to be working on something. He's got to install another Mac. Okay, too much to do. ADHD for real. Yeah, okay. All the best to you as well. Hello, G. Albert. Great to see you. In another stream today, we were watching David Hunt's live stream today, where he played some fantastic piano as usual. Graham is becoming a regular. Honoring. Thank you, sir, and welcome. Wait, I thought you were going at 2 p.m. EDT. Well, I thought this is Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what's EDT. And I'm confused about that, but it's only 2 weeks from now, because on March 26th, that's just one day before the next live stream on Sunday, we're going to be switching to daylight savings here in Sweden as well. So we're going to be exactly the same as the rest of the world has changed. Yeah. Hi, Roy. Great to see you. No, it's not. It's still. I'm sending 4K. But YouTube is kind of limiting all that to 1440. But it's a decent equipment, of course, and then I'm doing that. Okay, here we come to the subject for today. I have ADHD. How do you upgrade to AD4K? All right, cool. Got me on that one, Albert. But anyway, let's lead it off with some nice and traditional backup for those of you who have your guitars in your hands. So let's do the backup for today. So since I'm going to be switching between two guitars, and they have different shapes and all that, so I will need to move one of the cameras a little bit so you can see what I'm doing, and that'll be it. And some all right, I think I'll do another adjustment here for today only, because something's happening here. And for those of you who are interested in cameras and all that stuff, when you put this camera for my left hand, for my fretting hand, into autofocus mode, sometimes it starts hunting my fingers when I'm doing things. So I hope it's going to be okay. I usually have it in manual focusing. So whoever of you is maybe thinking of doing something online with your cameras and all that, in some situations it's better to use manual focusing. But since you're alone, solo shooter, sometimes you just can't reach far enough and then adjust at the same time. So it's a tricky one, but it's fun. All right, blues backup, standard tuning, E. Let's do that. do that one again. A little turnaround that I thought of doing, like, oh, I'll do like, to remind ourselves to Brownie McGee when we had this workshop about him a little bit. So, so when I come to the B chord, the 5th chord, and then I go, and so on. So it's this shape of E, and then the diminished chord here, the C sharp, and then the A, and then B, but with the open first string. So. Yeah, I missed that one, sorry. Anyway, the next backup is going to be on the metal body guitar, and that's going to be an open D. So keep it brief. In the meantime, if you're not playing with me, and if you have thoughts about ADHD and everything that's got to do with personal productivity, efficiency in doing things, if you have any challenges like I am having, because I got a long story to tell about that, so write it in the chat while I'm playing. So let's see. There's going to be the little bit rhythmical one. was totally improvised. I didn't know what I was doing because I was basically thinking about the next thing what's coming up, which is like, oh God, I'm actually alive. Why am I thinking about other things? And then you make a mistake. So what is it? The reason for the whole thing, the whole theme for today is because I'm reacting to what's happening. I'm reacting to what I'm watching, what I'm reading, what I'm thinking about. When you get some concrete challenges with deadlines in life and work and everything, it's kind of this little period of my life of this past few weeks were really like I was all over the place. I couldn't concentrate on one thing at the time at all. Some things that I really could cope with very easily before, all of a sudden I'm like oh man, it's a bit panic. So I don't know, let's talk about it. Let's go into whatever I can come up with here with today's theme, which is kind of ADHD, or however it's called. It doesn't have to be ADHD. Oops, sorry. Thank you so much, David. I muted the microphone because I wanted to put away my guitar and all that. So I'll do it again, but very briefly this time. Andrej Viktorovic, hello, zdravo, pozdrav. It's hello in Serbian. So anyway, the reason that I want to talk about ADHD and this feeling of being kind of confused, scattered, doing all things that I can, being easily distracted and trying to do many things at the same time, which is a bad prioritization and everything. So let me start off with that I got this great inspiration from several content creators online. One of them is Martha Rose, who's talking a lot about neurodivergent issues, and there is this expression of neurotypical and neurodivergent. I found a lot about that online, of course. You can find it yourself. But the thing is that Martha has a wonderful way of describing and being very vulnerable about how that's affecting her. And I'm living under this kind of spotlight of somebody who's being very well organized, doing many things, and people get this false picture of me kind of being able to do everything I just imagine. And oh, look at Mac, he's got his day job, he's got his photography business, he's got his videography business, he's got his gigging, a lot less than when I was touring extensively and all the time, but still festival gigs, blues clubs, jazz clubs, associations, workshops, and everything. It's like, it looks like, oh God, look, he's coming to Blues Week this year again in the UK. So the picture, is nicely painted, and it looks like, okay, he's got things under control. No. So the thing is that I'm also following Marie Poulin, who is the author of Notion Mastery course, which is a course about the app Notion that I guess those of you who've been following me for a while know that I'm using Notion for basically everything. And Notion is a God-given product, an app, but it's also a big trap. It needs to be tamed, and that taming of the app and the whole system has to come from within myself or whoever else is using Notion. Notion Mastery course is something that I can really, really warmly recommend to anybody who's coming into the world of Notion, and it's fantastic. And Marie is a great leader, and together with her husband Ben, and Georgia Sir, and a couple of other people, Kat Mulvihill, great content creator herself. They're all on the team, and they're working fantastic. They're doing a fantastic job within the community, around the course, and within the Notion community. So I will come back to that, and I will even show you how I organize things there very briefly. And let's go on. So I won't claim that I've got ADHD, but I've recognized many of the symptoms that are usually connected to ADHD. So I'm not diagnosed, but some things in my behavior is the reason that people usually put the word ADHD. I mean, it's in the mouth of others. It's not me. It's only that lately I've started kind of using the word like, okay, maybe I have that, but I don't even know if I want to diagnose or whatever, but I'm enjoying the research, and I'm enjoying trying to tackle some of the symptoms and to find solution how to overcome the problems. So that's what I'm going to be telling you about now. So the term neurodivergent is used to describe, it says like this: a variety of conditions related to cognitive abilities, though more often people with these conditions prefer neurodiverse, the expression, instead of neurodivergent. This applies to conditions such as autism, dyslexia, dyscalculia, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. That's what ADHD sounds terrible, actually. And OCD, that many people brag with, like, oh, it's my OCD, I have to have this in a 90 degrees angle, sit here on my table, then I feel good. Oh, this has to be there, otherwise I won't see it. That's this obsessive compulsive disorder. I don't know. I don't like strong expressions, and maybe I don't want to claim all these things like that. But let's. There's also this other thing, like, who says what's normal? What's the norm? Maybe the way the ADHD people are doing things is the right way, and all the rest of us are wrong. So I'm not telling or bringing you the truth. I'm just kind of talking about things. So we have to bear in mind that the concept of what's typical varies dramatically by culture. The variations are best understood on a social level when you speak with individuals, and you will get the clearer picture of, okay, in this country this is quite okay, but in this country it's like, oh no, it's too much. It's not well to be done that way. So yeah. The definition of me, very briefly, good as I am executing things, day job, gigging, guitar retreat, filming, workshops, teaching, consulting within tech, videography, photography. But what's not obvious is that I have at least 10, 15 other interests that I'm trying to pursue at the same time as I'm doing all these things. And my thing is that I think of all of those things at the same time. Maybe that's how I'm different from others, and I don't know how many of my peers are experiencing the same thing. It has to do something with the age as well. But it's like I'm thinking about all those things at the same time, which means thoughts, ideas, excerpts of whatever impressions I've got during the day can relate to all these things, and I want to annotate all of that. So I end up with endless lists of ideas, small thoughts, just written down, and I think like, okay, I got it down, I got it down, I won't forget, because at the moment these things come to me, they're just as equally important as, I don't know, landing on the moon or something like that. It's like, it's very important to me. So I managed to write them down, and when I wrote them down, I say, okay, this evening I'm going to sit down and I'm going to kind of go through everything and just sort them into, this is ideas, this is for this project, this is for that project, I'll put it there. And sometimes I do it. Sometimes I'll leave it for a day, 2, 3, for a week. And then I have long, endless lists of lots of things that I'd like to do, and the new impulses are coming at the same time while I'm sitting down and trying to annotate or kind of make some order within all these notes. New ideas are coming as well. So I'm taking another paper and saying, okay, this idea gave me the idea for this. And then you get lost in that, and then after kind of, 20, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, you get really tired. And I just got to quit. Okay, I'll continue tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, I wake up and like 20, 30 new ideas come to mind, or whatever I'm thinking about. And the previous day's notes are old stuff, and that's this circle. And it's going like this. So, of course, very important thing about being this easily distracted is to try to limit all those distractions, try to concentrate on one thing at a time. But that's the problem with people who maybe have ADHD or a similar condition. So, I'm tech savvy to the point of sometimes too much knowledge about totally unnecessary things for the moment. They're not going to move me forward in anything that I'm doing for the moment or that I've planned. But they're good to know. So I put them into my Notion in several hundreds of, posts or pages where I kind of sort lots of different kinds of information, like my own Wikipedia. I love to tinker with already existing systems. It's like I'm never happy with how it looks. So if I have something that looks like this on my paper, in Notion, in the computer, my file system, it's never good enough. And then I'm very good at finding new systems that could be interesting. Then I start working on them. So it's never good enough, no matter if it's about musicianship. That's why I haven't released any new recording for ages, because comparing to me like 20 years ago, I would just let it pass the test and just release a song or something. Now it's never good enough. It's this syndrome of perfectionism, and I'm still not happy with the versions of many songs that are, according to my buddies that I sometimes jam with, oh man, this is great, why don't you release this? Oh, it's not good enough, I'll have to produce it better. Maybe I'll record it with 2 guitars. Maybe I want a band on this one, right? It's never coming out that way. So I'm good at gathering things, like a great GTDer, and that's Getting Things Done method by David Allen, which means that you kind of collect everything that you get ideas about, and then you sort them into the right project, into the right context, and when you're in the right context, you do it. This was in the beginning of 2000, and while we had some things that we could do while we're at the computer and some things while we're in town and we don't have internet connection, that's old. That's 20 years old. Now we're connected all the time. So those contexts need to be something else. But usually that's what the GTD is about, to collect well and then sort into projects and then decide on the next step within each and one of those, which I've done. I have 6 to 7 projects in my list in Notion. Maybe 10 of them are active. Some of them are done, which is great, right? But basically, I'm on top of things, but I'm not following it up. I'm not really working more concrete on things that I should be doing. Apart from this, that's really a deadline, which is a guitar fair in Gothenburg in 2 weeks. And for that, I'll need to prepare the homepage for the guitar retreat, because that's what I'm going to be advertising for. And I'll do a gig at this fair as well. So that's it. I saw this comment, Albert, thank you so much. It's very comforting, and I know I'm not alone. It's just that people don't always say that, especially not when we are talking person to person somewhere. Gary says, when I was a child, nobody knew of ADHD, but I have often wondered if I would have got the diagnosis today. I would have explained something in my life. On the other hand, normality is very overrated. Yes, that's what I meant when I said, what's the norm? Who's right? Who's wrong? And does somebody have to be wrong so that I'm right, and vice versa? That's it. But I mean, let's say myself, I'm very often all over the place because I just get easily distracted while I'm doing things. Finishing the scripts and preparations for today, for the live stream, I was doing that like 3 o'clock in the afternoon while I was at the same time watching, kind of loosely listening to a live stream. And David Hunt knows because he was in the same live stream around, I don't know, a couple of hours before this with Alec Johnson about Ecamm Live application that we both used for this, for live streaming. So I can never do just one thing. When I'm gigging, when I play a gig, that's one of the situations where I'm totally concentrated and I really don't think about anything else because my mind is very occupied by lots of pictures in front of me, which means that I always visualize the lyrics of songs. I don't visualize them as a piece of paper where the lyrics are written. No, I usually associate pictures, images, with the lyrics that are supposed to be sung here. So I'm seeing pictures of landscape. Let's say you play this old traditional song, "This Land Is Your Land," right, by Woody Guthrie. I see a large landscape when it says, "This land is your land, this land is my land." And usually I visualize lyrics, and for that I really need my total concentration, and I just can't think of anything else. But in almost all other situations, okay, she knows about that, my partner, my wife, of course. She's complaining that I'm not always listening to her, which is a very common problem with people with ADHD, and maybe that's a part of me that's got that, because even if I really want to, if I see in the corner of my eye, if I'm talking to somebody and there's a television going on, I will switch, my eyes gonna watch at the screen, and that at that moment I forget everything that's been told to me. It's like, what, where am I? And then I'm in between these things, and it takes me a couple of seconds to get back, but that's enough for somebody to say, like, hey, you're not listening to me. I'm trying. So, at my day job, I really try to always look the person in the eye, to the point that I'm sometimes like staring at them just to make sure that, I'm not supposed to, not hear what they're telling me. It's very, it can be challenging. So I get lots of tips about this. People say like, you need to take frequent breaks. You have to annotate everything that comes to your mind. You need to kind of relax a little bit. It's not that important, really. Just kind of take it as it comes and explain for people how it feels. But it's difficult to explain this to somebody who is not like this. It's very difficult. So I told you about this, that sometimes I even start doing several things at the same time. And try to arrange a Pomodoro technique, which is like you work with something like for 20-25 minutes and you take a 5-minute break, and then you either go back to that or you start something else or whatever. And according to GTD and many other kind of efficiency programs, as long as you work with something and you annotate, you write down your very concrete next step about it, it's okay to leave it. So it doesn't mean that a total concentration needs to be 2 hours on the same task or same project that you're doing. Let's say especially when I'm playing guitar and I'm kind of thinking about, okay, I've got these ideas written down in Notion, and let's go and open this one. And then I open that idea, and within that note, I have a couple of video recordings of the ideas developing. So I start doing that, but while I'm playing that idea, another idea comes to mind. And that's, okay, oh, that's right. I could try this in Open G as well, but then it reminds of that song. Oh, let's do that for a while, right? And then all of a sudden, I'm kind of developing 3-4 songs, versions, licks, arrangements, but I don't really finish them all. So that's the current situation. I used to be better at this, and I hope to get back on track like that, but this is how it is right now. Lots of confusion there. Right. Yeah, there's this aspect of sustainability, which means that, okay, if I'm selfish enough to be the way I am, and I expect maybe that people understand how I'm thinking and how I have difficulties in doing things, that's a bit selfish when it comes to other people's well-being. And it's not only about me being sustainable, it's about them as well. So when whatever I do, and if I come in contact with other people, I'm affecting them as well by doing or not doing things. If in a work situation, if you don't fulfill the project, or you're part of the project, you're affecting the whole chain of everybody else involved, right? But that's a deadline. And people with ADHD are usually really good at deadlines, because that's something which is kind of now, very soon. It's a date that you really have determined that it has to be done by this day. And since you know you're affecting other people, somehow you will manage with this deadline. That's why a lot of ADHD people say, like, oh, I work best under press. That's my best achievement. I never missed a deadline. Okay, but we also have the tendency of defining everything else that doesn't have a clear deadline as less important. And there is an expression that I found. Let me just find it here, because I really don't want to talk all evening about this, but it's called temporal discounting, which means that we discount the value of things that are in the future and that are important, but since they're not here and now, we don't see them as valuable as maybe somebody else. I know people, and I used to be like that, like, that there's this thing that you have booked for, let's say, September this year, and project management science would tell you, like, okay, well, of course I'm going to start with this in late May, and then kind of find several steps of this project and just do them accordingly, and one after another, and by the end I'll be ready. Yeah, but I've become I'm not as good as like that. I'm not as good anymore. Let's put it that way. Because it's very important. If we don't prioritize things, then somebody else will, willingly or unwillingly, or situation or life will prioritize for me, and that can affect me really, really badly if I let that happen, right? So it's like there are some people who I've talked to, and they say, look, if any of you is following Doc Rock on YouTube, he's a great content creator. He works at eCam. He's a community manager there. And he had a couple of live streams on his own channel about how finding a purpose makes it easier to cope with the challenges of being interested in many things. And which means that if you can always kind of mirror whatever you're doing and compare that to your purpose that you've defined, and usually it's required to put that on paper. If you have a clear purpose, then it's going to be easy to prioritize things and just say, okay, I'd love to do this. I'd love to start doing this. but it's not leading me anywhere. It's not within my goal and my purpose, so I will leave it. So my problem for the moment is that I'm not leaving things. I do meticulously write them down. I find them the right project. I can assign deadlines that I maybe just jump over and don't do them. But I'm not letting them go. So that's my next challenge, to try to really concentrate on several things and to see how they align with the purpose that I've defined. Yeah, we say yes to too many things. There is another tip that I've got, and it says, if you write down how the finished stage of something would look like, that would be something that's a motivating factor to fulfill what you're doing. And when you decide on the right project for the right purpose and you got the deadline for that, you also need to define in every project. For me, it's in Notion. For somebody else, can be pen and paper, can be in a book, or I don't know. But it's like, as soon as you write down how the goal is going to look like, not what you would like to achieve, but it's a very concrete thing. It's like for this upcoming guitar fair in Gothenburg in 2 weeks, I've written down like wishful thinking, right? I have a website with 10 pages about the guitar retreat, which will, of course, include pictures of the facilities, pictures of us all jamming during the retreat, pictures of some nice guitars, whatever is going to make it easier for me to present the whole project to somebody who has never been with us. Because I have one group already booked. That's 14 people that's coming on July 21st to 23rd. So it's like, okay, I've made my money there. It's fine. I don't have to, but I'd love to have another group, one more, because my purpose with this whole project is, aside of making it sustainable economically, I also want to enlighten more people in playing this traditional music that I love, and maybe to find more people who would be interested in learning about open tuning's acoustic guitar, slide playing, fingerstyle playing. I'd love to do that. That's my purpose. That's why I'm doing all this. Yeah. And another part of this whole science is accountability, which means you need to find a partner, somebody, usually a living person, who's keeping you accountable for things that you said you're going to be doing, which means that person will call you, email you, text you, call you, come to your place, and just ask you like, hey, how far have you come? Did you start? Come on, man, do it. There are even online services and special sites where you can sign up and even pay a little money to have a accountability partner from anywhere around the world. And sometimes they have these co-working sessions. I forgot the name of that website, but kind of co-working sessions about that both of them are doing something concrete that they agree on in the beginning of the session, which can be, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, depends. And then you sit and you have your camera on, so you're visible all the time, but you're doing totally different things. You don't talk, you don't contact each other until the end of the session, but it's keeping you both accountable. It's like, okay, come on, now we're working. So, yeah. Let me see. Hello, Abby. Thanks for finding the time to listen to this. Let's see. I think creativity can be quite an impulsive thing. You're chasing an idea or a feeling, and you need to let it be free to go in. To go in all directions it needs, at least in the initial stages. Yeah, that's true. I'm just staying in those initial stages for a long time on many, many, many different ideas and songs. Oh, I'll show you. The Notion thing is coming in a minute or two. Yeah. So the thing is, one of the things that really helps, and I've tried to do that more in detail than I used to do before. That means to structure, let's say, your week or month or a quarter around the calendar. That you assign times during certain times during the day, that you always do the same thing. That some things become this kind of OCD routine that you always do at the same time. Like, you know, some people eat breakfast always at the same time. They eat the same things every day, which puts them into the mood for the day. Everything is okay. This means also for people who maybe have ADHD and want to kind of find a routine for things so that they don't miss the things. One of the things that happened to me lately was that I didn't affect my work, my day job, because maybe there's this special kind of, you know, little bullet in your head that hits you hard if you forget something about that, or if you're about to forget, because that's what I'm not forgetting. I'm looking at that in my calendar, but everything else is like I assign a reminder about an event that I want to, let's say, see online, and I put like 3-4 reminders of the reminder so that I won't forget, and in the end I still forget it. It's like, so what's the best way to get reminded of something if you just neglect all the notifications? Yep. I need to go back to something that I would like to tell you about, but that's, yeah, there are many tips, like a track to see how long time things take, because they usually say that, I'm guilty of that ADHD people cannot estimate the time, how long time some things will take. And the last 2 weeks, these 2 past live streams, last week I was late. I was late because of some technical issues, which I couldn't really do anything about. But before that, I could have checked that 3 hours before and set up all the cameras and everything, but I didn't. I did everything in the last second. So I know, I'm aware that I need to be finished with my script at least 2 days before, so that I can just relax and do the technical part, and then run through a script a couple of times during the day so I know what I'm doing. And that's what I did in the beginning when I was doing live streams. Almost as like I had this kind of, rocket in my bottom here telling me like, hey, come on, man. It's today. It's tomorrow. Come on. I kind of let it go now. So I was also listening to lots of stuff by Karen McGill online, which is really, really good. She's an author, and she's got ADHD, but she's also an ADHD coach with her own YouTube channel, of course. We all have YouTube channels. So, okay. I've got 2 more things to do before we finish for today. I've got a song to play you, so we'll need to take a little break from me talking, and I'm gonna play you this melody of "He's Got the Whole World in His Hands." I love the slide version of that. So let me just find song of the week. Yeah. I really, really wished I lived closer to David Hunt. Man, we'd be doing a weekly live stream together, piano and guitar. There's the melody. So he's got the whole world in his hand. He's got the whole world in his hand. He's got a whole world in his hand. He's got a whole world in his hand. And so on. So the backup can be just a regular in the finger picking manner. So now I'm gonna just play the melody on the slide. So in open D, the melody starts from the 7th fret, right? This note on the 4th fret here, it's also here. So somebody could play like a... This makes it possible for even nicer gliding between notes. If you start on 12th fret on the 2nd string, like... And then you need to find this note together with a note, which makes it, we're going to the 5th chord, right? So there are several ways to play this melody in open D. It's very dependent on if you're going to be playing the chords as well at the same time, because when you play the 5th chord on the 7th fret, where's the part of the melody there? Nothing is on the 7th fret. No part of the melody is there. So we need to just combine it with the basses only, and then you can always throw in the chord if you maybe just shorten the melody line, like a... So you got this. This is also nice kind of variation to the melody. Do 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 down. Oh, sorry. Right, good. So that's in open D. I sound like a beginner because I'm a beginner for this melody. I never played this live. I've just thought about, okay, let's find the melody in the live stream and to see how we can do it. Now I'm going to show it, try to find it in open G. That's the beauty of YouTube. You can, do things, and then people can just go back to it and just go to this part of the stream and just loop this part only and practice. That's great. This is not really suitable for my voice. The key is too high. He's got the whole world in his hand. Yeah, maybe if I was in a gospel choir singing this very loud, yeah, maybe I'd scream the melody here, but basically. So let's try to find this. Do 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 do. That's up here. Oh, I'd love to play this in open G. It's much more versatile. It's much easier to play the chords, the backup to it. So one of the solutions in my situation, like, okay, I'd love to play this song live. How would I do it? I would definitely play it on my baritone guitar that I would then tune into open G, but lowered all the way down to maybe E. That would be great. Right. So the beauty of this on the 12th fret is like you have this wonderful bass line still going. And then so that could be a nice backup to that if you're playing with somebody else playing the melody. That's great. Yeah, that was that. A song that I wanted to play for you. All right, let's see what Albert is saying. Life happens. You can't foresee all events. Sometimes you just have to say manure occurs. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But there is this little thing that I'd like to show you before I let you go. So, at the first look, this is very organized. This is everything in Notion. All these little pages, lines here are either databases or places where I kind of store information, ideas, and lots of stuff. This is for my projects. And if I show you the projects, this is a timeline view. I promise I haven't cleaned up anything prior to the live stream, to present the best part of me, because this is not the best part of it. This is still too many projects at the same time planned, but this is actually filtered after the active projects. If I would show you all projects, it would look like this. So this is all, let's say 67, I think. Exactly, 67 projects that, let's say I have maybe 10 that I completed, that I'm happy with, and I've done those. Some are very old deadline, October 22. Yeah, okay. But basically, this is the timeline view, and this is the best thing with Notion, that it can really show you, like in this kind of a Gantt chart, where the things are within a month, within a quarter, within a year. This is within this month. If I look at the quarter, it's looking not too much difference, but you see that there are some things ahead over there by the end of the year and all that. But if I show the whole year, that's it. So basically all these are something that I'm trying to move forward with without leaving anything far behind. And the only thing that is behind right now is actually this with actual readings, because I've started, let's say, reading 2 books. And Deep Work, start finishing, no, 3 books. And Essentialism that I just bought a couple of days ago. So it's like, I'm doing all that. And affiliate programs, let's admit I still haven't done anything about it, but that's something that I need some traffic on my YouTube page in order to do that. So maybe that project's going to be put into non-active or something like that. But the rest of it is quite okay, but it's still too much. So if we look at this, that's the main thing. But if we look at this, this is my kind of cockpit. This is where I try to create a page that'll be inspiring for me who have problems with starting on things and leaving the things that are not leading me to my purpose and goals. And that's exactly what David said here, right? My problem is getting started. It looks great when I see your outline there, but I start working on it and then I get distracted and the project just goes by the way. Then I give up. We're brothers. We're brothers. It doesn't matter where we live in the world. We're brothers. That's it. I'm the same now. You have Notion and you have the templates. Okay. Maybe we could do a workshop together. Maybe we could do it online together. And if I know something about Notion, that's how to assemble the things within a page that looks good, it's inviting, but then we need to find, mutual kind of inspiration and motivation to start. Because there's this little, tips. Get up earlier. Inbox 0. You cannot have any mails lying there in your inbox. Be a stoic. Work out 2 hours a day. Don't have carbs or sugar or fat or calories. Eat the frog first. Do the biggest task for every day first, and then the rest of the day will be great. Not really. But neurotypicals, people who are not having these issues, like me and many other people, is that they are motivated by importance of things, by consequences, and by rewards. For me, the reward is nothing. I mean, it doesn't motivate me. For me, the motivation is instant gratification, that I do something and I get a reward for that right away. I'm like a dog. You gave me a treat. Oh, that's great. 20 seconds later, oh, did you give me a treat? Give me another one. Give me another one. That's why I'm so impulsive and letting all these impressions just affect me and come at me. Let me show you here. So this is my cockpit. This is something that I worked for at least 2 days on when I created it. This is fantastic blog post by August Bradley, also one of the authors that I'm following. He is fantastic, and there are so many great sentences here. And I thought, okay, I'll open this every day and then I'll come here and I'll read this and then I'll go over to the rest of the stuff, which is like some nice inspirational thoughts. Oh, I gather them as well. Look how beautiful they are, right? And oh God, look at this. Since I'm following David and reading watching his live streams, there's some beautiful things that he said, which are so true. You are the answer to someone's question. That is what's defining my purpose. I really want to be an answer to somebody's question, but I just don't need to be that easily distracted. So after that, journal the questions. It's like, okay, if I start journaling and write down answers to all of these questions every day, and it's easy to put in Notion. You just create a database and you just put a new page into that database every day, and then you read it later on. If you do. If you don't, I don't know. And then there's this. Definitions of procrastination. Why aren't we starting things? Is it a fear of failure? Is it imposter syndrome? Is it this or that? Because avoiding it doesn't make it go away, but getting it done does. So true. But when you know all those truths, why don't you start? That is a question. Shakespeare. This is all something nice. Take responsibility, pick yourself, own your learning, make a contribution, serve others, make a difference. Beautiful. Samuel Suresh, also a wonderful guy. He's got a YouTube channel. A lot about, both productivity, tech, creativity, graphic design stuff. He's wonderful. So Muddy Waters, somebody who I really look up to and who is someone who really achieved a lot during his lifetime. And in 5 years, I'll be living as much as he did, and it's not really something to get compared to, but it's like, I'm starting to think about that. So, and together with Muddy's picture, it's this text. Is my attention matching my intentions? And everything circles around this definition of purpose, right? So, and I wrote down, okay, this is something that I in my 3 areas of work, these are the three things, but this has been here for ages. I haven't done nothing about that yet. But that's job related, so we'll solve that there. And here I have filtered views of my actual tasks, right? Which are tagged with next action, or they're not tagged. And some things are something that I'm waiting for other people to do. Some emails that I'm waiting on, but that's okay. So, but then on this other part, it's actual project, the same as I shown you in the timeline view. And then here's, let's say, some people that I want to get in touch with. This is something I'm keeping quite good order with, because I really know that I want to contact Sylvia and Andrew, and I want to talk to my buddy in Germany, Michael, who I'd love to have as a guest in the live stream. And we'll see about that. He's an amazing guitar player, studio musician, professor of music at the conservatorium in Germany. Fantastic. And here, studies. This is what reveals. Just now, this is the tag, and I have several other tags. There's like it's on hold, it's research stage. This is a large database of things that I'd love to learn about. It's either hardware, it's software, maybe it's an area of life or something. And I just let myself put too much on this list that's like a very important, let's say Rodecaster Pro 2. That shouldn't be just now. I'm doing it. Let's put it on research stage. Let's just put it away from here, because I'm live streaming every week by using the Rodecaster Pro. This is my mixer where my 3 microphones are going through. All the sound, all the audio you're hearing comes to that. So I don't have to have it in my studies that's kind of facing me every day, if I come here every day. And then you think like, okay, here are the ideas for songs and licks. Great. I've had this song for the last year's Blues Week. I haven't prepared it. YouTube channel intro song. I'd love to do that one. I still haven't done it. Big Song Library. These are the songs that I'm preparing for the upcoming gig and another workshop that I'll be doing. So I'm quite serious about that, because there's a hot deadline for those things. So I'm doing that. And then it's like, okay, one more fun. I can go to other areas of my Notion pages. But then down here, oh, it's not here on the cockpit, it's on the headquarters page. This looks neat and tidy, and it's great. And it's almost like with somebody who doesn't have ADHD or any other condition. But down here, there are things which are kind of leftovers of earlier ideas that I don't know. Should I start doing this, or should I not? Or should I not? I'm working on goals when I have the time. Loads of things there as well. It's like, oh no. I just leave this be here for the time being, and the time being has become, every day I just leave it there. There's a great song by Albert Tinley. Leave it there, leave it there. David Hunt. I force you to play that on your live stream this on Friday. That's right, on Friday. People, you have to follow David on his YouTube channel. You have to do that. Okay. This is not translating. Purple crying face. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes I'm crying about these things. But okay, let's be honest. If I just go back to this main page in the live stream, this is, let's say, the first world problem, which means I'm a bit over exaggerating things. Let's be honest. I'm good. I'm still doing things. I'm not sick because of that. I'm not ill. I'm healthy. I have a job. My family's fine. Everybody's healthy. Everybody doing good. So actually, I don't have real problems. This is just a matter of me trying to achieve maybe more than I'm capable of at the moment. Maybe more than I will ever be able to do. Maybe I'm just too ambitious. Maybe I just need to let it go and see what happens, and take care of my real true deadlines and fulfill them and try to be happy about that and not feel bad because okay, I'm not feeling bad about the things that I've planned but I haven't started with or haven't finished, even if I started them and all that. I don't feel bad about that, but I'm not really on top. I hope maybe in a couple of weeks or a month or so or something, I'll do another live stream. That's why I put ADHD part 1 on this thumbnail for this live stream, because maybe I'm hoping to do a part 2 when I just show you, you know, lots of projects that are checked as done, that I've, you know, did things that I promised myself to do, and that, you know, found maybe an accountability partner who's pushing me, and then all of a sudden I'm done with lots of important things. And I'd love to share that with you as well, because this wasn't a negative live stream. It was just like a revealing, like a showing you that, you know, some of you who maybe thought that, oh, he's a high achiever, that's great. It's not always the case. It's not always the case, and there are ups and downs, just like, I guess, with everybody else. It's just that we are showing it more if we're doing our live streams and we're talking about it. But I think it's an important issue, and I'd love to hear, maybe there will be some comments in the YouTube video afterward, because some people are watching the replays later on and then contacting me, all that. But anyway, I'm so grateful that you shared your time with me today, if you stayed this late. And I don't know, David is saying, oh, to Albert, it's true, yeah. David, keep me accountable. Let's do a live stream together with that. Maybe you want to either be my guest or I'll be your guest, and we do something that's outside our kind of usual schedule of me live streaming on Mondays and you doing your Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So if we do something on a Thursday and do some kind of, you know, decent marketing about that, and maybe bring in some people who we can interview and ask about these things, that'd be wonderful. I think I'd love to do that. Anyway, thanks so much for coming today. It's been a pleasure, and I really feel grateful that I had the opportunity to talk about this, and it really feels better than before I started. So thanks so much. And I hope I will see you next week on March 20th. Have a great day, evening, afternoon, and let's do that.
It was in spring, one sunny day, my sweetheart left me, Lord, she went away. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. Things could call me up, down and out by soul. Said, come back, Daddy, Lord, I need you so. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, 'cause I'm sitting on top of the world. peaches. Don't you shake my tree. Get out of my orchard. Let my peaches be. Now she's gone. I don't worry. But I'm sitting on top of the world. Spring, one sunny day, my sweetheart left me. Now she went away. Now she's gone. I don't worry. But I'm sitting on top of the world. Now she's gone. I don't worry. But I'm sitting